We've talked about teachers quitting. We talked about truckers quitting. Today we talk about lawyers quitting. Let's get into it.
Hey TikTok. So I worked as an employment attorney for 14 years and I absolutely hated it. Thankfully, 2 months ago, I finally quit so I could run my business full time. I became an attorney because I wanted to help people, but I felt like I could never enjoy my successes because there was so much politics and so much stress. Over the course of my career, I went from making $85,000 to $200,000 a year before taxes, but I had to walk away from all of that for my mental health. I'm going live tomorrow to talk about all of this, so if you have any questions, drop them in the comments.
Definitely above average salary from 85K to 200K. It's pretty good money. One thing about being a lawyer, like she mentioned, it's extremely stressful and you have no work-life balance. I think that's why a lot of people are probably ultimately deciding to quit. Like I said, pretty much you have to give your life to the law firm.
Why did I leave being a lawyer and what did I do after? So I got this question on TikTok and I'm going to try to answer it as quickly as possible. So why did I leave? Well, the simple answer is I hated every aspect of it, from waking up at a time I didn't want to wake up at, wearing clothes I didn't want to wear, sitting in traffic and an awful commute to work, to then do a job all day stuck in a corporate office, which literally sucked the soul out of me. And then
Makes you wonder, did he have like any internship experience before becoming a lawyer? To go through that whole process of being a lawyer and then just to hate literally every single aspect of it. I wonder if this was just, like I said, did he know anyone that was a lawyer prior? Or like I said, that had any type of intern in experience with a lawyer? Like I said, maybe they could have prevented this. Because I mean, law school is definitely not cheap.
then going home back in traffic that I didn't want to be in, being too tired to do anything else other than eat, watch TV, and go to sleep. In other words, it was a very miserable lifestyle. The only good thing was the people that I met and the great friends that I made on that journey. What did I do afterwards? Well, the better question is, what didn't I do? I literally tried every single thing just to get away from that environment. So drop shipping, white labeling, Facebook advertising, copywriting, creating courses. I've literally tried every possible online business model in order to find something that works for me. Now all of those things, whilst they might not have been great, they did allow me to build a set of skills that have now been stacked upon each other to get me to where I am today. Now I do two main things. The first thing is I help people who are shy, afraid of speaking, build confidence, self-esteem, and communication skills by starting a podcast, which they can then use to build relationships, start a business, get a new job, build an online brand, etc. And the second thing that I do, which came from my own podcast, was creating a partnership with somebody in America where we are now business consultants. We help people scale their businesses and then buy other businesses. So advice for people like the person that asked this question. I don't know your name. The art is just a few letters, but advice for people stuck in a corporate environment is do something on the side. Do not leave your job unless your side thing is starting to make money or you've got.
At least he's giving solid advice. Like I said, basically have a backup plan. If you do plan to leave your job, just don't up and quit. Like I said, I've done videos in the past where people literally quit their job with no savings, no type of backup plan. Like I said, be strategic if you are going to plan your exit.
March 17th, I submitted a letter of my immediate resignation from the law firm that I was employed at. On March 14th, just one day after I celebrated my 28th birthday, timing which I honestly don't think is a coincidence for me, I was called in to meet with a partner. I learned that someone at another firm, which I will not name, saw my TikTok and wondered how I was able to maintain a platform like this while working at the firm that I was working at. They then alerted a partner at the firm that I was working at, who then alerted the person that I was meeting with. I have never hid my interest in beauty and blogging and all of that from anyone.
This touched on a video that I just did recently. Like I said, I'll leave the link. If I'm gonna leave the link either here, or the description below, where it talks about people getting fired for doing social media, in particular TikTok, while they're working.
Professionally, it is a line on my resume. It comes up in interviews. I've connected it back to being able to read contracts and work with brands. It is not something that was hidden, but it was also acknowledged that they did not understand that I was earning money on social media at all through paid partnerships. I was informed that this was a clear violation of the firm's policy on outside of work activities, or moonlighting, which strictly prohibits attorneys from taking on any sort of work, either legal or non-legal. I was told that I simply cannot do both. I no longer felt comfortable continuing on there. And truthfully, I was not passionate about my work there either. I submitted my letter of resignation at the end of that week.
All because somebody was hating because she had a TikTok that was popping. Like I said, you got to be careful with these social media and these jobs. You never know who's looking.
Don't become a lawyer if you do not have thick skin, okay? If you are sensitive, if you get your feelings hurt easily, don't become a lawyer. I have been getting a lot of requests to do content about what it's like to be an attorney, and this is gonna be my first tip because, baby, the way that people talk to you, the crazy things that people will say out their mouths to you it just blows my mind. I know that if I wasn't an attorney, people would not say these things to me. And every single day, someone is upset with you or about something that you're doing, or just the fact that you exist. Like on this app, I get a lot of hate comments, usually from men, just upset that I'm an attorney and that I help people get child support orders. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, she's a child support lawyer. That's why the men is on her head. I mean, but it's not her fault. You know, I mean, brothers, you have a baby, you got to pay. You got to pay.
And then because I'm a woman, I get accused of sleeping with pretty much everybody. I'm sleeping with my client, I'm sleeping with the judge, opposing counsel, the opposing party. It doesn't even make sense. So you have to have a strong sense of self. You have to feel confident that what you're doing is the right thing and that you're doing it well, and not be worried about taking up space, about occupying spaces that maybe someone else feels they should be in instead of you, and be assured that you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing in this world, within your community, and for yourself. And then always protect your mental health. If it's too much for you, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back from litigation, for example, or taking a few days off just to get your mental health together. But yes, if you do not have thick skin, this may not be the profession for you.
That's a different take that I never thought about. Um, Being accused of sleeping with counsel, judges, uh, that's different. I never heard that before.
I just quit my job. I hear you ask, but haven't you been doing law for 7 years? And haven't you just got a new job as a lawyer? Yes, I have. It's not for me. It's not for me. And that's okay. And it wasn't the company, it wasn't the people. The people were amazing, they were great. It's corporate life. I'm tapping out because it's just not for me. It's not for me. Did we try it? Yes. Did it work? No. And that's okay. Do I know what's next? Also no.
Shout out to all the lawyers. I mean, being a lawyer is extremely tough. Like I said, it's not only is it the stress of having to deal with your clients and the cases, especially if you're like a criminal defense. I mean, you're defending people fighting for their lives. It can be very stressful. On top of that, trying to maintain a work-life balance can be extremely difficult. So I can see why a lot of people burn out very fast.
Attorney. And how much do you make? 134.
And this is exactly why I say that your why for being a part of this profession has to be bigger than making money. That woman makes $134,000 a year with 8 years of experience. This is after 3 to 4 years of law school, and then of course 4 years worth of a bachelor's degree if she does not have other postgraduate degrees. If she took out student loans, she's at least $100,000 in the hole for her law degree if she didn't take out additional loans for her bachelor's degree or any other postgraduate degrees that she has. And after 8 years working in the profession, to be making $134,000 is just not.
Yeah, that's kind of light. Like I said, to be a lawyer and be in the profession for 8 years and only making 134,000. Now, granted, that is more than the average person, but to do all that schooling and like I said, you're taking on all that student loan debt for $134,000. I don't think I would do it.
It's just not it. There are project managers, there are product managers, there are HR professionals, there are operations managers that are making more money than this woman is making after 8 years in this profession. And let's not even take into account her gender or her race. So if you think you're about to be a lawyer and make the big bucks, that's not to say that you won't, but it's just to say that you may be in for a rude awakening when you come into the profession and you realize it's not as easy to make those big 6-figure checks as you may have thought. Most of us are overworked and underpaid, no matter what facet of the profession we're in.
My understanding, like I said, I'm not an expert in this field, but my understanding was if you don't graduate like from one of them like top 5, top 10 law schools, and get on that corporate track and to become a partner one day, you're pretty much really not going to make the big money, from my understanding. But let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I'm sure it'll be someone with more legal expertise in the comments. Let me know.
Out of 10 practicing attorneys today have thought or are thinking about leaving the practice of law forever. Most law firms have a lack of work-life balance. And part of that is because the senior leadership of those firms didn't grow up in a time period where work-life balance was a thing, and they see work-life balance as a weakness. The second thing that I think is holding them back is the lack of culture. In that scenario, if you have a younger individual that is wanting to have more of a work-life balance, they are shamed or they are ostracized. And so for law firms today to succeed, they have to be able to accomplish both of those things.
Very well said.
Good makeup, but let's talk about why I hated being an attorney and I no longer practice. I do still have my license. I doubt I will ever give that up, but this is why I hated being an attorney, practicing attorney. I will say that it could be the industry I was in, right? I mean, I was in insurance defense for the majority of the time, right when I graduated law school, and then I did a little bit of general business litigation, contract stuff, landlord-tenant stuff, so it could very well have been the industry I was in, but none of it was bringing me joy, and I'm just the type of person that's like, life is pretty short, you should probably find something that makes you happy. Now I'm doing what I love. I'm getting to use my law degree, but I'm not practicing as an attorney, and I'll talk about the 3 reasons why I hated practicing. So for one, I think the majority of attorneys are miserable, and I'm sure some attorneys would see this and be like, I'm not miserable, I love my job. Sure, but I do think that the majority of attorneys do not like what they do, and therefore they take that out on other people. So I noticed when I was practicing that my opposing counsel in like certain cases, they were so rude, like so mean. Just one of those things where I was like, dude, I know you hate your job, but don't take that on me. Like,
There may be some truth to that. In the previous clip, the young lady said you have to have thick skin to be a lawyer. So sounds like that's in line.
I didn't do anything to you. That was really exhausting, just having to deal with that all the time. Obviously, that's not an enjoyable work setting when everyone you're communicating with on a daily basis is just like treating you like shit or just like not happy with themselves. Second thing I hated was the billable hour requirement. So as an attorney, depending on your firm, you have a certain number of billable hours you have to meet a month or a year, whatever. And basically not all of your work falls into those billable hours, so you end up working a full-time job plus more because you're not able to bill everything. And then the third thing I'll say, and honestly I could probably keep going, but
So essentially you're going to be doing work that you're not getting paid for.
third thing I will say is that my workplace was very toxic and I wasn't appreciated for how much effort and time I was putting into work. And I've owned a company or a business before, so I know how much you have to appreciate your employees, and I just wasn't getting that. Like, if I'm gonna spend my life building up your dream, you sure as hell better appreciate me and the time I'm putting in. And then
Makes sense. Like I said, being a lawyer is very, very tough. Not only, like I said, the mental stress that you go through, having to try to balance your career with your personal life. Again, like I said, this is going to be a new series we go through where we go through various careers and talk about why people are exiting that profession. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.